It's Pastor Rob. I'm not making any of this up. Hi, this is past serious stuff, and it's blowing my mind. What they're trying to do now, and you must watch it for your own self. They're going to set you up again, going against Janice there. So watch your time on that. Number two, since I've been exonerated in 3 states, went through hell last night, and they're trying to do it. So they're trying to, and I've messed up by opening my mouth. They're trying to ruin me, ruin your literal exoneration of me in 3 states. It's hardcore and it's very serious. So I'm not criticizing you. I go to bed at a certain hour. Sometimes I stay up. Wake me up, have your dinner, anything. Note, I know you've got a busy schedule. I'm not liking today at all. And I got said something about you have to be under Janice for as long as you're in this apartment. Well, that's way out of it. Whether they're out loud or not, this is my apartment, and I do not subscribe to their kind of thinking. I never had as much problem with Merrill. I don't know whether this Sid is a kind of a poll that's a problem, but I don't want anything to do with Brodsky either. Out of the question. That was connected with Bush and some association with Pryor. I don't know whether it's a son or a daughter. Whatever it is, that's all messed up. And it's very bad today. The bank went well on that subject matter. You have a check coming in the mail that I want you to have, and one more for 15. If you can, read what you have, what I've said. This is mandatory that I tell you. I will calm down. Very bad. Last night, unfortunately, I got the figures done early, and very bad in here. It's increased too much. They do not want me in here. They wanted me out of here from the beginning. But this is important that I keep this apartment. Now, how we conduct our discussion tonight that is important. Number one, there is an experiment you can do with me if you have something. If you've got pictures of males, I will tell you the emotion that I see in their eyes. It's a thought. This thing will not accept PDF, so I don't know how that's done. But if we can work that way, it's a thought. Now, there is somebody, I'm going to continue a bit. If you're afraid, I'll leave you a message, or your husband deems it so. I'm in a horrific mess, and I need a male that understands this smart enough. We've already said it. Ruth May is genuine, and we did very well. I explained to her. She said a black limo came up. I said, you ought to be careful of any black limo, because the black limos surrounded me at Dr. Pett's office in Manchester, and they used to follow me around as I went. I didn't trust them, and I told Ruth May, I'm going to tell you for your own self, not to trust. Be cautious when you deal with the black limo that comes to speak to you. And she listened to me. I got it from my end. She got it from the dead. My father was crying at the time, is what she said. And I knew he was upset. And I knew that I was in a mess. She was able, without seances, to get what I knew was a mess. So I get it in another fashion. We used to meet the minds on the tangibilities in the way she did. Both grandmothers were for me. Both of them were definitively for me. And, of course, my grandfather, Jack, I don't know, he was not dead then. So, anyway, my father was very upset by what was going on in Connecticut. I know, I look for the birds when they appear. I've been told they're not even birds, that the bird bunch watch, we'll think of the name, but there is a name for them. who watch the birds. They are my mother's way of tangibly knowing my father was near her. When there was one bird, it's my father making the decision. My father made the final decisions. They talked it over. He was head of household. They were in agreement. He made the final decision on my health. My mother took care of it. Minnie did. Anna was very, very well versed in that. And Dad was head of household on an equality basis, not an obliteration basis. When one bird is there, it's my father approving it. When there are two, they're both in the picture. Now, I don't see it often. The squirrels are able to come in and out of mine quite easily. Hi, it's Pat. I'm returning the wonderful email. You're available to 9. Unfortunately, this was a little earlier and I didn't have it on my laptop. So I happen to check it continually, quite often. I'm glad about that. I'd love a return call if you're able to do so. I'll leave a message with Don. Let's see, and she'll update you regarding this via phone call whenever you feel. It's myself to Stephanie, and I really am starting to trust a little better. I was very hurt, and I don't want to hurt anymore. And I don't hear enough of the encouragement from those driving up the street. This mental communication is for the birds. I have to deal with actuality, and that is what almost makes me sick. This is very difficult for me. And I'm going to tell you, I don't want anything to do with this mental communication and lack of conversation that is anything but demented in nature. And that is how I view it. Occasionally you get a decent hello, and that is where we're at. It's all acted and planned and told to act that way. It is very strange behavior, and I've dealt with it for a very long time. This, at least, is solid communication. I will rest, and I do need to know how that went, and I appreciate the fact that you spoke to my son. It's very important that I hear your answer. I don't know who or what stops this thing, but I had to put the pictures on my phone again. This dementedness, they call me insane, has got to cease. They have to be dealt with in here. And that is how I do view this situation. I can't live like this. And that is not correct. That's not good behavior to me. I love my apartment, and I thank God you're working with me. I do not want to sound like this anymore. I don't think like that. It's stark raving terror. And I don't, if somebody literally did request that this be done here for my benefit, I am for them. And that is where this is at. You have a beautiful evening. I look forward to that communications. Just sat down. I get on this all day long on here. And I went today. Now that's the end of that sexuality that I never chose or was forced on. That is not my choice, cunnilingus or fellatio, and no male should force himself to do that. No male has a right to force somebody to have sex during menstruation either. It is not what I would have done. I feel it was a form of rape. Now that's the end of this, and I did not file a complaint. Now that is where this is at. It is not my kind of lovemaking. Rear end, never, and that is it in a nutshell. As far as another situation, I would have to have explanation. This is where I'm supposed to be. I want to be here. It has to be resolved here on nice mate, and I don't know what will take me into the future on this. You are never to bother me again or your current husband. That is where this is at. I felt bad for Pryor's son and the daughter. At that point in time, you're missing one of them. So was an Irving Frank in his obituary. And I want to tell you, I would have said that his wife was a psychologist. I don't know that. Now, that is the end of this subject matter. I don't want to hear what went wrong in my life on what I felt I had some sort of talent in. And I am still humble. And that is the end of that. I don't want your father bothering me. Somebody was terrorizing my mother on Dare Run Trail, and everybody was upset. And that is it in a nutshell. I don't know who was, but I've got displacement in there also, with somebody telling me I was narcissistic. And I don't know whether some long car came about Burger King and said they take them out of there. I didn't have the wherewithal, other than shock, to say, who's they? And nobody takes them out of there. Now that's it. I don't know whether that mail ever existed or was a foreshadowing. Don't bother me again, nor Bush in the present at all.